Hello everyone, it's me Juan again from Juan's Garage, and this time once again working in the garage, but this time on the water heater or the water boiler. So I'm gonna focus on this little guy right here, and I'm going to show you how you can diagnose and fix it if yours ever gives you a problem. One of the symptoms is your hot water runs out very quickly, or you don't get any more hot water at all. So we'll get into a few of those things, and most of it is it's not difficult. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so this is your gas water heater valve controller. Okay, and if you've ever had to start it or restart it, you've got your little gas valve here. You put it in pilot, you take this cover off, and you light the pilot, and then you let it, you turn it over to the normal run position that it's at now. Okay. Now, typically this indicator is down here, but slowly it's gotten kind of worse, and it didn't seem to be controlling properly. So my guess is this little guy here, right? He's your pilot sensor that gives you a 10 millivolt signal to the valve controller is wearing out. They say they're supposed to last about 10 years, but we don't know. So the pilot is still on. Let's see if I can take this out of here. These can be really hot sometimes, so you gotta be careful with that. So you see the pilot light is still on there. The probe inside is what has to make contact, and it has to heat up, okay? So if that ever fails, then, yeah. If that ever fails, then you gotta replace it, okay? So I'm gonna replace it. Okay, with your pilot light still burning, what you can do is you can turn this button to the pilot position and keep it pressed, okay? And then you can put a clamp or something on it just to hold it so that the pilot keeps burning. After that, you take, what is this, a 3/8 wrench, and you take this little guy loose, the copper line, okay? Now, after you take him loose, this guy takes the heat of the pilot in there, and he transfers it to a millivolt signal. Now, I've got my meter here set up, and it's set to measure millivolts. So I'm gonna see if I can one-hand this. Been doing this one-handed. I'm gonna edit the video so it doesn't look so bad. Okay, so I got 7.0 volts. This should be 10 millivolts, okay? You should be getting 10 millivolts. Put one meter lead on the copper here, and one lead up on top. All right? I apologize, doing this one-handed is a real pain, but you get the idea. So I'm gonna change it out with a new one. We'll see how it goes. So take the valve off here, and what'll happen is the clamp up. You see your pilot went out as soon as you let this go, which is okay. Now we're gonna take this, I'm gonna put it in the off position so your gas is off, all right? And now I gotta disassemble this guy and see how he comes out. Okay, so before you start working on your project, taking things apart, remember safety first. So you want to turn your gas valve off. Just follow this main line that goes to your valve controller back here, and you're going to come across a gas valve. And as you see, it's crossways right now. Crossways means that the valve is closed. If you turn it in line with your pipe, and that goes with any valve, now the valve is open, okay? Okay, so as it turns out, I had to take the pilot gas line out and the main gas line out of the main valve. And I removed the pilot sensing line off. These come in either 24 or 36 inches. You can measure yours in advance if you want to, or just take the old one out and measure it. And it's hard to see past my finger, but mine's a 24-inch one, okay? So 24 inches, when I went to Home Depot, I went ahead and bought both of them. So the one that fits I put in, and the other one I just take back. So this is an old style pilot valve, okay? So you have to hold the button down in the pilot position. That'll feed gas through your pilot line, and it'll go in here. And what you have to do is you have to take one of these fire starters, right? Log starters, and just turn it on manually. Anyway, that's it right there. So now the new sensor has been inserted, and I'm going to take a voltage reading just to see if it is in fact greater than 10 volts. Okay, so once again, doing this one-handed. I've got the red probe on the tip, the black probe on the copper. It's hard to see, but if you can see here, now we've got greater than 10 millivolts. Okay, it's important, millivolts. So now we've got 16.2. Remember previously we only had about 7 or 8 millivolts? That's not enough to energize your valve. You need greater than 10 millivolts. Alrighty, so in closing, 99% of the time, the reason why your boiler is malfunctioning is because of that pilot sensing probe. The boiler or the valve, in order to open the main gas line, it has to sense that the pilot, right, the pilot feed is on and it's burning. And the way it tells it the pilot is burning is this sensing line here. And once again, this little guy's got to give you more than 10 millivolts so that it'll turn on, okay? So when it senses it on, and inside here there's a probe that goes into the boiler, it senses, it's almost like your thermostat switch on your air conditioner or your heater inside the house. When it gets hot, it turns off the heater. When it gets cold, right, temperature drops, it turns it back on, and that's what this guy does, back and forth. So if you wonder where to set this, they have a little tiny knob here, little kind of notch, and that's kind of your reference. It's winter right now, so the water gets cold quickly because you got a bunch of cold, freezing cold water coming into the boiler. So we're gonna set it just a little bit above, right about at the B mark, and we'll see how it goes. If the water comes out of your tap scalding hot, then you want to turn this down a little bit. Just turn it down to the hot. So you got hot here and you got very hot here. So this is scalding, this is hot. Anyway, guys, that's the Juan's Garage signing off. Hope you guys learned something. It's not that difficult. I hope this helps. Have a great day.